Hello, my name is Levit and I'm chairman of ONVIF steering committee. And today I will talk about how ONVIF support analytics with Profile M. So let me guide you through the topics we will be covering today. I will give you a short overview of ONVIF, who we are, what we do, and then I will jump into how we support analytics. What are the interoperability demands for analytics application? What is the metadata and why it is important? And also, why is Profile M is needed? Coverage of Profile M and the benefits it provides. After that, we will go into some more details about Profile M and its features like metadata, events, how we stream metadata and sending the events, and also MQTT. Also, we will talk about a little bit about conformant products, some other profiles, and benefits of conformance. And at the end of the presentation, we'll have some time for questions and answers. Now, some of the overview about ONVIF. So what is ONVIF? ONVIF just celebrated a major milestone of 15 years anniversary. So we been founded 15 years ago, and it's a global industry forum that standardized communication between IP-based physical devices. So we offer interoperability regardless of the brand, and today we have over 480 members and roughly 25,000 conformant products in the product database. We are open to all companies and organizations, and the standardization work is based on member effort and collaboration and consensus. So how do we support analytics? The rise of analytics application for security and business intelligence and IoT system is something that we see on the market, and last week we had IC West, we participated there, and it's a lot of companies talking about different analytics. Those analytics applications cover different areas such as security, and use cases for that could be object detection, classification, tracking of the object, but also some business intelligence applications, for instance, people counting, vehicle and traffic analysis. Also, IoT is coming more and more into this domain with the smart building management. So for all of those type of applications, analytics are extremely important, and it's built on what we call metadata. So what is metadata? Basically, metadata is something that is the data that describes other data. So if we take an example that all of us familiar with is our files on the computer. Those files have some attributes such as date when it was produced, what type of the document it is, who is the owner, etc., etc. So basically, those are the attributes that explains and describes the data. In video management system that we have today, a lot of video generated. There is no way a person could watch all the videos. So it's important for us to focus on important videos, videos that really shows that something happened and something of interest. So metadata tags objects in the video to focus on an important events that happens in the video, and that allows us to automatically respond to alarm triggers, collect and organize the content of the video in a better way for better search, or for transferring the video and save transferring video more efficiently and save bandwidth, or make it easier for the search of relevant recordings. Profile M specifies metadata and events for analytics applications. So the content of Profile M is what type of metadata is supported, how events are supported, and how the streaming of metadata and event supported. So Profile M is slightly different from other ONVIF profiles, and it deliberately released a very hard requirement on the device, making conformant devices possible to be an application or even service. And conformant client could be VMS, NVR, or cloud service. So it's ONVIF Profile M helps communication between different components of the system for exchange of metadata and events. So the benefits of Profile M are really several. Easy integration of analytics solutions because it gives a wider range of conformant products that supports analytics, but it also explains exactly how the integration can be done in a more efficient way. It also provides an easy integration with IoT applications, and one example of that could be a usage of MQTT, which is a communication protocol which is widely used in IoT applications. Greater product choice for the system integrators and flexibility for end user. As I mentioned before, we just achieved over 25,000 conformant products in ONVIF conformance database, and that gives a great choice of products that supports different profiles. And Profile M that been introduced 2 years ago is our fastest growing profile in terms of adoption. So more and more product vendors creating products and bringing them to the market that are conformant to Profile M. One important topic that I would like to highlight here is the possibility of combining ONVIF Profile M with other profiles that ONVIF have. So that creates a possibility to create systems that solves complicated and advanced use cases and connects analytics use cases from the camera to other systems such as access control. I will talk about that a little bit later. So now, let me talk a little bit about the features of Profile M, how we support metadata, events, and streaming. So the metadata supported in Profile M allows us to configure analytics applications in the device. It also specify and describe several object classes. So we provided both very typical object classes such as geolocation, vehicle, license plate, human face, and human body. But we also have a generic object class that could be defined based on the needs for specific use case. Use cases that could be built on top of those specifications are basically displaying objects of interest in video, such as bounding boxes, as you see on the slide. It can also be used to present a heat map, for instance, for retail, map the vehicles on the parking lots. And since we provide the information about the object, we can also use that for forensic search to find out a video of interest among the huge amount of video being saved in video management system. ONVIF Profile M also supports events. Events such line crossing counter for object counting events. That could be a people counting application that utilizing that functionality, or counting a number of cars on a parking lot. That could be used for such applications as queue management or crowd control, etc., etc. Also, we specify events for license plate recognition, for instance, for access control. Imagine the situation where the car with pre-registered license plate coming to a parking lot, and based on the rules set up in access management system, the barrier opens or not, depending on whether the license plate of the car incoming is on the white or black list. Also, we support facial recognition event for access control to the building premises. In addition to events, Profile M supports streaming metadata and events. We have mandatory requirements, and this is standardized metadata stream. But we also have two conditional methods of communication. One of those is ONVIF events service, and another one is MQTT event. So you can utilize, again, as I mentioned before, MQTT to communicate your events between ONVIF conformant device and IoT system. And an example of such integration could be that the camera recognize a person in the premises, and it sends a JSON event over MQTT to an IoT application that could then control the temperature in the room based on, for example, a number of people entering the room. So that use case showcasing a capability of integrating ONVIF conformant devices to IoT system for wider range of application within IoT and building management. Conformant devices. As you might know, ONVIF holds a database of all the conformant devices that ever been tested for the conformance with one or several ONVIF profiles. ONVIF offered that database free access on our webpage, www.onvif.org. You can see all the products that have been tested, what feature set it holds, and details about the products there. It's over 25,000 conformant devices, and in the database now, and last count it was roughly 500 plus conformant M products. So it's really growing fast, and you can see all of this information on the database. Okay, now let's talk about other profiles that we have in ONVIF. Since 2008, ONVIF released a number of profiles, both for access control and video. So the two most recent profiles that we released 2 years ago is Profile D for access control peripherals and Profile M that I'm briefly covered during today's presentation. But we also have the other profiles both for access control, such as Profile A for configuration of access control, and Profile C for the door control and event management in an access control system. We also have a Profile G, which is profile that specify edge storage and retrieval. For example, if you save your video on the SD card in the camera. So it specifies how that can be done. Profiles S and T are the profiles that specify streaming, more basic streaming in Profile S, and Profile T is for more advanced streaming. Those profiles specify the streaming features such as H.264 and H.265 and other functionalities needed to stream video from edge device to video management system or NVR. Last year, ONVIF also introduced the concept of add-ons. So what is an add-on and how is it different from a profile? Add-ons specify a set of features that fulfills a use case, but add-ons are slightly more flexible than profiles and hold a smaller set of functionality than a profile. So compared to profile, an add-on can be versioned. So for instance, if ONVIF add-on specify a specific technology that evolves over time, the add-on can be versioned from version 1 to version 2, etc., etc. That brings an additional flexibility and development speed of ONVIF specifications. The add-on is planned to be released during this year, and we will talk about that probably later when it's more ready for the market. Add-on will also be a subject for conformance testing. So we're aiming to bring both ONVIF profiles and ONVIF add-ons to the market going forward. So why is ONVIF good, and what benefits does it bring? So for end user, ONVIF provide a clear flexibility and choice between different vendors. As ONVIF offers conformance regardless of the choice, end users are not locked into a specific vendor for the functionality. ONVIF offers a broader range of standard product solutions. For integrators, it gives a wider flexibility and freedom when it comes to building up systems. It also provides future-proof. In the concept of profiles, once a profile is implemented, it's there to stay. The specification is stable. It's not something that will change over time. So it really offers easy integration and future-proof. And for manufacturers, it's give the easier access to the market. ONVIF specifications are being one of the topics for tender specifications, and it becomes more and more common that it's mandatory requirement in the tenders. So being part of that community open up markets for the vendors. It also helps to collaborate with the market leaders. As I mentioned, the specification work and conformance process work is done between the members. So being a part of that community give you access to market leaders and give you possibility to collaborate with your peers across the globe. So with that, I would like to finish my presentation and get over to questions and answers.
Thank you, Leo. It's great to have you presenting to us today, and also for the support of ONVIF for Security by Alive. We just had a couple questions to go through, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
So the first one is, you mentioned interoperability, and that's quite a huge buzzword in the industry right now. Is it quite difficult to get manufacturers, who are usually obviously competitors in the marketplace, to actually work together and collaborate their technologies?
I wouldn't say it's easy. It's always a challenge to get people from different companies, different cultures to collaborate with each other. But I think we learn over time that when we focus on the topics that are really important for the industry, it's rather easy to explain to the people why it's important and how we can work with that. And ONVIF is a member-driven organization, so nothing is done in this organization without members doing the actual job. So we don't have any overhead at all. And the fact that we have a huge amount of specification that been done in agreement between different parties is a manifestation of successful work when it comes to uniting people for the greater good, despite that they are competitors and coming from different companies, different continents. So it's not easy, but I think once you really hit the real problem that everybody is struggling with, there is a great willingness to work together and overcome this issue.
And you mentioned in your presentation that ONVIF allows integrators a wider flexibility, freedom, and future-proofing. So can you just clarify for a minute what you mean by this?
Yeah. So as we have over 480 members with the 25,000 conformant products, as an integrator, you don't really locked into a specific vendor when you build your system for your end customer. So as an integrator, you are always struggling with finding the right components for your solution. And ONVIF provides a standardized integration interface. And being an integrator and having a wide range of products and vendors to pick from for the standardized integration interface, it's really a relief because you can easily replace one component with another and keep the basic functionality working according to the ONVIF specifications. And when it comes to longevity of this integration, once the profile is integrated and implemented in the system, the vendors will keep conformance up and running, keep conformance valid, even if they upgrade devices with new firmware, for instance. So it gives really peace of mind to integrators when it comes to future-proofing the system as a whole.
And you spoke about the exchange of metadata between different components of a system. Does this also include the integration or triggers from other systems? So, for example, if you have a video camera that is showing somebody, I don't know, breaking into a shop and flags this data or footage to the security manager, setting off an alarm, could this also trigger an access control system to close, for example?
Honestly, that's exactly what we want to achieve. So we want to have a wide interoperability between different types of system, and utilizing, for instance, MQTT, which is a de facto standard in a lot of building automation system and IoT systems. We really hope that the use cases such as yourself just described, Rebecca, will be facilitated and implemented at customer sites. So once you get data in ONVIF format and utilizing the standardized interfaces, you can transfer this data to any type of system that support this standard. So there is nothing that prevents system that is even not security focused system to implement the standards. So as I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, we as an organization open for all companies and organizations. So there is a desire to have interoperability regardless of the brand or what type of system you're using. So I really hope that we can facilitate use cases such as you described. When camera detects something, there is a decision taken by security manager, and then doors are closing or other actions of the other systems are performed.
And is that an example of the integration of different profiles again? So, for example, profile A and profile M.
So if we take, for instance, profile A, it's mostly for the configuration. But if we say, for instance, profile M and profile D, that could be something that is very useful, where you can actually control the peripheral. So a part of profile D functionality is open and close command. So that's exactly the type of use cases that you was asking in the previous question. So once camera have detected something, it can send the notification to management system, and this management system, with utilizing profile D, could send a close or open command to the locks and opening and closing the doors.
And is profile M that you spoke about applicable to all types of end user verticals?
Yes. So it's all the ONVIF specifications are agnostic to the verticals and the type of system, and it's a little bit of the focus of organization to not being locked into a specific vertical, but rather try to create communication protocols that are interoperable regardless of what type of solution you're trying to integrate with, whether it's retail or banking or critical infrastructure. It should work the same way. So that also gives a lot of peace of mind to the integrators.
And if anybody watching today wants to make their product ONVIF compliant, how might they go about doing this?
Well, first of all, to be able to submit declaration of conformity, a vendor need to be a member of ONVIF. So that will probably be a first step. So with that, you get access to all the specifications. You get access to profile specifications, and then obviously you as a vendor need to implement and test your solution. ONVIF will provide test tool, whether it's a client test tool or device test tool, depending on what side of the system vendor is working on. And those tools are used for self-certifications. So once vendor as a member of ONVIF have implemented the functionality, it can be tested with a device or client test tool. Upon this test, the declaration of conformity will be created by the tool, and it will be uploaded to the ONVIF database, being available to as information for all external parties. It will be an open information available from our webpage.
And just lastly, the security industry is already evolving technologically quite quickly. Where do you think the industry is heading?
So it's difficult to predict, but I think if we look at the pace of innovation, it's really going faster and faster. Also, I think what we see is that there are several mega trends we have in security industry, such as cloud technology coming into play, edge compute, and that's triggered by maturity of those technologies. None of them are very new, but it becomes more and more mature and more accepted by the industry. So I think where the industry is heading is really towards more hybrid type of solutions, where you will have some of the functionality on premises, some of the functionality in the server room, elsewhere in the private network, and some in cloud. And if we look at the topology of such a solution, it becomes extremely important to work on the standardization of those interfaces between different locations of the system, such as on premises or cloud. And this is definitely something that we at ONVIF looking into, how we can help industry in the transition to those new megatrends.
It's almost like a multi-layered approach.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Leo. It's been really great to talk to you and find out more about ONVIF and its offering. If anybody has any further questions about how they can implement ONVIF standards into their products or their companies, then please do reach out to the ONVIF booth and you can find out more. You'll find the booth in the exhibitor section of the platform, and you can ask Leo any further questions. So thank you, Leo. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.